We try to say that the Northeast is an exotic place when actually people want to be modern, they just want to develop, they have new aspirations.
Why not? Both can, I think, exist simultaneously. You can have your cultural traditions, you can be modern, and I think that should be how it should be. Like, for example, in Manipur, the ultras had banned showing Hindi movies and playing Hindi music. So the youth started seeing Korean movies, and they started even copying the way the Koreans live. They sleep on the floor on the mat. Their hairstyles are Korean, and they listen to Korean music.
But since you mentioned the ultras, how much control do they actually have?
It's in 2 states.
Right, that's Nagaland and Manipur.
In Nagaland, there is a ceasefire, so there is some kind of a stability. But in Manipur, it's very, very active, and there are multiple number of groups. Meghalaya also has a problem, but it is under control. Assam, the Bodoland Territorial Council has been created, and now the Dima Hasao and Karbi autonomous councils have been created. So peace is coming, but Manipur and Nagaland we need to resolve as quickly as possible.
There are 8 states here. It's a regional bloc in a sense. But you have what? You have the Ministry of Donor here. Why don't we have some regional planning bodies based there itself?
Yes. The Northeastern Council is supposedly to be a regional planning body. We need to really, really strengthen the Northeastern Council, and we are working towards that.
In what way, sir?
Unfortunately, as of now, the Northeast Council is very weak as far as manpower is concerned. We need to recruit experts so that they can start working on it. But by and large, the Northeastern Council has done a good job. They have commissioned a lot of studies, and like your tourism master plan was also done by them. And then they have also commissioned a study on border trade, and then also commissioned a study on the requirement of medical manpower for the next 10 years so that we can start planning.
What are the priorities? I mean, what first, what then, if we identify the core need?
Infrastructure is number one. We need to have infrastructure. We need to have good power supply. Like Manipur, even this Imphal, the state capital, is barely able to supply about 6 hours of electricity. You can generate power, but there is no grids. There are no transmission lines. And now, fortunately, the Ministry of Power has commissioned a huge project with the help of the World Bank for total grid connectivity, so that whatever is generated will be connected to the national grid.
That's because there's also the remote sort of control from Delhi. So the point is that if you want development, you have the Look East policy. Where are the institutions to implement the Look East policy in the Northeast? There's nobody there.
The philosophy of the Look East policy, it's multidimensional. There are several ministries who are involved in it, who are stakeholders, and they are doing it. Like air connectivity, now a new airport in Teju is going to be commissioned. A greenfield airport has been constructed in Gangtok, and the Northeastern Council has also invested a lot of money in upgrading, and now Guwahati is going to be made into a hub. Now all the incoming flights either comes from Kolkata or Delhi, and none of the aircrafts are parked in Guwahati. The private airlines, they say that their engineers and their pilots don't want to stay in Guwahati overnight because there are no good hotels. In fact, when the Northeastern Council was subsidizing Alliance Air to fly to non-profitable routes, one of the conditions was that they should park their aircrafts in Guwahati, but it was never done because they couldn't.
And some of the other airports that are being developed in the region?
Tejpur, Lillabari, Shillong and Dimapur, which has very poor connectivity. Dimapur has only 4 flights, I think, per week. Guwahati has also 4 flights a week from Kolkata. Tejpur and Lillabari is not serviced by any service provider.
Are we looking for investment from outside, or what about from the local communities itself?
Yeah, local communities are investing in Guwahati. So many nice 3-star type hotels had come up.
What about women's empowerment? So some feel that women are in the Northeast, first of all, have a very important place, but then a lot of literature written by women authors seems to suggest that they are just as badly treated in the Northeast as they are anywhere else.
From my state, Meghalaya, we are a matrilineal and a matriarchal society.
Well, they say matrilineal, but not matriarchal.
It is matriarchal. In fact, even weapons are registered in a woman's name.
So there were some arguments that the only jobs that they are given, even in terms of government bodies and all that, are very, they are not the important roles. They are roles which like catering and stuff like that, providing tea.
As far as the hill states are concerned, women are very well represented in governance.
In terms of the vision document, in terms of trying to build up infrastructure, in terms of trying to build up tourism, can women play a more important role?
They should. You cannot ignore the other 50% of your people, isn't it?
Why do we have this feeling of alienation?
It's just a physical remoteness of the area, number one. Connectivity is the issue. The Northeast has been left behind, basically. And all those things which happen in Delhi doesn't help. People really feel alienated. And unfortunately, many people don't know about the Northeast at all.
So what can be done to change that?
Now we have to sell the Northeast as part of the rest of the country. And recently, after this Arunachal Boy episode, we have taken the initiative, the ministry has taken the initiative, and we are making a publicity campaign to educate the rest of the country about the uniqueness of the Northeast. Nobody can doubt the patriotism of the people of the Northeast.
Absolutely.
We have contributed a lot to the armed forces. Manipur has done extremely well as far as sports is concerned, in spite of everything. In fact, during the last national games, Manipur stood number 2 as far as medal tally is concerned, next only to the services. Such a tiny state.
Absolutely.
And it is beaten huge states like Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh.
So you mentioned Sikkim developing well, and the connectivity from Sikkim to the rest of the Northeast is through North Bengal, and the demand is for Gorkhaland also to become a separate state. Now, if all these forms into one regional bloc, do you think it will help in a...
I think it's a political issue, and I wouldn't like to comment on that, because there is a demand, no doubt, and the government will have to take a view. The central government will have to take a view on that.
The demands for Bodoland, the demands for Gorkhaland, the demands, they're all small, very tiny units, and they each have a unique demand. So, I mean, it has to be represented, right? And when you have your Northeast Council, that's the whole purpose of the Northeast is suffering because of the diverse needs of that small region.
If you look at the other parts of the country, they also have the same type of issues. Why has Andhra Pradesh broken up? Because they feel that the needs of Telangana was not addressed. That's why. And similar demands are always there in other parts of the country also. But yes, you're right. There the groups are smaller because the population is lesser. And indeed it is really, really diverse as far as language is concerned. In fact, a small state like Nagaland has 16 recognized languages, and they don't understand each other. That kind of uniqueness is there. But then unity in diversity should be the mantra.
These smaller states, realizing their potential, and at the same time, the whole concept of center-state relations.
No, I think each state government, how small it might be, has certain rights and privileges under the Constitution, which are never diluted, not just because the size is small. And Government of India is also trying its best. These are called special category states, where any Government of India funding is 90% and 10% has to be borne by the state, which is simply just almost like a subsidy, 100% subsidy. Unfortunately, because of the lack of industrialization and commerce, tax revenues are very, very less. Except for Assam and Sikkim, the rest of the other states contribute less than 15% of the total revenue which they receive from the government of India. Sikkim and Assam contributes 30%.
Mr. UK Sangma, thank you very much, sir, for talking to us on Northeast Interface.
Thank you.
The government, through the Ministry of Donor, is investing heavily in the development of the Northeast. Infrastructure in the form of airports, the multimodal sea link, the trilateral highway and hydroelectric power. With all these investments, the Northeast is growing far more rapidly than the rest of the country. But it would still need rapid double-digit economic growth to just catch up with the rest of India. Well, that's all in this episode of Northeast Interface, the 8th in our series about the unexplored paradise. Thanks for watching.